What's going on, everybody? We are back. I'm Anthony from Knicks Nation, joined by my co-host Chris. The New York Knicks lose to the Washington Wizards, 116 to 105 in Madison Square Garden. Chris, what's going on, man? Tough loss for the New York Knicks tonight.
Yeah, one of those weird games, where we just can't seem to come back all the way. Some really good individual play though for some of the Knicks players, and got to give credit to Washington. They played a good game.
They played a good game. Knicks beat up on this team last week, but the Wizards were without Bradley Beal. And Bradley Beal tonight didn't really do that much, but look, 18 points for Bradley Beal tonight. Kristaps Porzingis, 22 points. On the Wizards side, Kyle Kuzma with 27 and 13 on the Wizards side. On the Knicks side, you had a great game from Jalen Brunson again. All-star Jalen Brunson, Chris, just absolutely playing out of his mind. But then you see when Julius Randle struggles to score, the Knicks struggle to score as well. 14 points for Randle, not efficient, 0 of 5 from 3, which his three-point shot has been pretty much really solid here these last few weeks, and he just couldn't hit tonight. I mean, 6 of 17 from the field, Chris. That's not going to get it done.
Yeah, no, Julius just seemed off from the get-go. You did see the effort. You could tell he was trying hard on the defensive end. For whatever reason, he just could not put anything together in this game, and it just unfortunately it was a trickle down effect to the whole team. I mean, Jalen Brunson, R.J. Barrett had good games, but we were just lacking that last bit of offensive punch that probably would have got us over the hump against this team.
Big task at hand in the chat. Salute, guys. Knicks had trouble scoring. Yeah, it's not like the Wizards are a good defensive team. It's just that the New York Knicks were shooting 41% from the field. They only hit 7 threes, Chris. 7 of 26 from 3. 18 of 27 from the free throw line. That's not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it at all. They only had 14 assists as a team. Way too much isolation tonight, Chris. Way too much. Julius Randle was forcing it a lot tonight. And when the ball doesn't move, the basket seems smaller. I mean, that's just the way it is. The Knicks, when they move the ball, they look like a great team. Barrett, Randall, everyone's involved. Grimes, everybody. But when the ball doesn't move, Chris, it's not going to look pretty. And tonight it didn't look pretty. Look, R.J. Barrett gave you 21 points, but 9 of 21 from the field, 0 from 4 from 3. Quentin Grimes tonight had a little scare there in second quarter. We thought he had a concussion or something, but 14 points from Grimes. And the bench unit, Chris, it's a problem. It's been a problem for a few weeks now, and all you have is Emmanuel Quickly coming in off the bench and doing what he does. But other than that, who is going to be the other guy that's going to come in and score?
Yeah, I mean I think that's one of the bigger issues that the Knicks are facing at the moment. It's just Emmanuel quickly off the bench, and that's it, like you said. Obi still doesn't look right. I mean, he's out there getting boards, he's running around, but he's not really involved offensively. He's not taking any shots. They're not really looking for him either. You got Ihart, who's just invisible offensively. We did see Sims, which we played a lot of minutes because Mitch went down, unfortunately, this game. But yeah, and then you get McBride. He's great defensively, but can't give you anything offensively. So I think that's starting to catch up to the Knicks a bit here.
Yeah, and there's been rumors about, the Knicks may be targeting whether it's Reggie Bullock. We can get into that later on in the postgame, but I think that's an absolute terrible rumor. I don't agree with that rumor at all. But anyway, yeah, the bench scoring has been an issue for the New York Knicks. Like you said, Obi Toppin is coming off an injury, and he just has not looked right, Chris. I mean, he's pretty much in there for cardio at this point. And let's look at his game log. Since he returned, 5 points, 0 points, 0 points, 5 points, 0 points. He's not ready, and he's not scoring. And he was coming in off the bench, hitting his threes before the injury. But Obi Toppin, I don't know how long it's going to take him to get back from that knee injury, but you can tell he is not right. And then when you pair that with Isaiah Hardenstein not giving you a damn thing off the bench, I call Hardenstein. I give him the nickname the Hunchback. That's my nickname for Isaiah Hardenstein. But yeah, 4 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, -7 off the bench. Not giving you anything, Chris. And McBride, 0 spot defense, but offensively he's limited. So look, trading deadline is coming up, Chris. They gotta fix this, right? I mean, they have to.
Yeah, I mean, you can't expect the starters to just play. I mean, I know this is Tibbs and he'll do it, but the starters can't be playing 40 minutes every single night. And again, outside of Quickly, who do we got coming off the bench? I think that the Knicks definitely have to go. We definitely have to make a move and get. It doesn't have to even be a superstar. Just get some solid players that we can run off the bench.
Yeah, and there's some names out there. Kuzma's name was out there, Chris. I mean, Kuzma would be a hell of an addition off the bench, but I think the price would be too steep for the Knicks brass to pay. I don't think they're gonna pay for Kyle Kuzma because I just don't think they're willing to trade their first round picks at all. I think they're willing. That's why when the Reggie Bullock, I mean, I guess we can get into it now. When the Reggie Bullock rumor came about, there was a rumor from Mark Stein saying that the New York Knicks are interested in trading Cam Reddish to the Dallas Mavericks for Bullock and a couple second-round picks for Cam Reddish. I mean, Bullock is having a bad year. You can look it up. He's having a terrible year. He's not shooting the ball well. His metrics are terrible. To me, that's not the move to make right now. That's not. I mean, Cam Reddish, you can make a case is better than Reggie Bullock, but that's not the move to make, in my opinion. You got to go for a bigger fish than that. But at the end of the day, I really went back and thought about it, and that's Chris. That's such a Knicks move to do that move, to trade for Reggie Bullock, get 2 second-round picks. They don't want to unload their first-round picks for anyone. They want to hoard them for the next big fish that we keep hearing about, and eventually they got to trade some pieces away and make a tough decision. To me, they're acting like fans running the front office right now. Make some tough decisions. Take a step back to take 2 steps forward. I mean, I didn't like that trade rumor, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you 100%, but I was going to mention until you said it yourself, that's such a Knicks move to make.
Yeah.
It's like, let's let's sign somebody that we basically gave away in a prior trade. I mean, Bullock, like you said, he's not having a good season. I know he's a knockdown 3-pointer, or that's his that's his reputation, at least around the league. But you know I don't agree with it either, but I could see it just because it's a Knicks type of thing to do, and Tibbs loved that guy. He ran Reggie Bullock out there every single night, no matter what. Kind of like what he's doing with iHeart. So I mean, if they were to be getting second round picks back as well, I know they lost one recently due to Jalen Brunson tampering and all that. I mean, it kind of sounds like a move the Knicks would do, which is unfortunate. Hopefully, it's not true. But I hope the Knicks. I hope the Knicks don't do something like that, and I hope they go out and just why do we have these picks for? We can't just continue to hoard them. We're some of these guys' windows are closing for us.
This is a good team.
And yeah, it's a solid team outside of right now the bench is in flux, but this is our chance right now to make some noise and bring in a couple pieces, or a piece that can help us out either on the bench or maybe why not go for a Kuzma, or a Tobias Harris type.
Yeah.
I think that's the way to go. Whether the Knicks do it, time will tell.
Yeah, like you said, it will be such a Knicks move to do that move. Familiar faces back in the Garden, but yeah, hope the Knicks decide to move in another direction, use a couple of those first round picks, and maybe get a Kuzma, or maybe even get who's the guy in Toronto that's name escaping me that I want. OG, or the other one, the shooter.
Oh, Gary Trent.
Gary Trent, yeah. We love Gary Trent on the New York
I would
Knicks.
love Gary Trent Jr. here. He would be perfect off the bench.
Off the bench. So, yeah. Knicks lose 2 in a row in Madison Square Garden. Big task at him. He says he calls iHeart a pinball machine. Yeah, man. You just push him down low and he moves back about 10 feet. So, that is Isaiah Hartenstein. Big task. Obi is not looking good at all right now. Do you think he's still hurt? I do. Maybe I don't think he's still hurt because that injury was such a I guess, scary, and I want to say scary, but like a freak accident. So the Knicks wouldn't bring him back. Hopefully, we we hope that they wouldn't bring him back if he's still hurt. So I don't think he's still hurt. I just think that it's gonna take him a while, Chris, to get back in the rhythm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Obi's ever been hurt in that way. And also when it comes to injuries, sometimes it's a mental game. You know, they don't know if they should run all the way 100% or cut. You know, with Obi and it being his his legs, I think maybe he's just being a little careful, not trying to be too reckless because he is out there, he is running around, but you're just not seeing that usual over the top energy we're accustomed to seeing with Obi.
Yeah, we're not. So Knicks lose two straight in the Garden, and they have a 2-game road trip coming up, Chris. These next 5 games at Atlanta, at Toronto, versus Cleveland, at Boston, at Brooklyn. So doesn't get easier. Tough schedule, and this schedule does not look fun coming up. But Hawks are, not really a good team right now. They're not really playing well. Raptors give the Knicks problems, Chris. I mean, even though the Knicks won over there a couple of weeks ago, they came to the Garden a couple of days ago and beat the Knicks again. So, yeah, Raptors getting Knicks problems. You have the Cleveland Cavaliers. We know they're a great team in the East. The Boston Celtics, one of the top teams in the East. And Brooklyn Nets are missing Kevin Durant right now. So, one game at a time. But, yeah, Chris, let's go back to this game. Let's look at the team stats tonight. What really stood out the most, and to me, but we can go through the game. Mitchell Robinson left the game first quarter. He sprained his, was it thumb, Chris, or index finger? Sprained his
Yeah,
thumb or index finger.
his
Did not
finger.
return. Was ruled out pretty quickly. So we hope Mitchell Robinson will be healthy soon. That's why you saw Jericho Sims come in, step up, and you can see the energy that Sims brought. Although he used his 6 fouls pretty quickly there. He fouled out really quick, Jericho Sims. So yeah, we just hope Mitchell Robinson gets healthy soon. But yeah, after that, Chris, Mitchell Robinson was having a good game too in that first quarter, and it was just he was setting the tone, doing what Mitch does, and after that, the Knicks really couldn't sustain a rhythm when he left.
Yeah, it was unfortunate that Mitch left the game, and that's another key point where the Wizards, they were just getting so many offensive boards that normally wouldn't happen if Mitch was in there. We usually control that aspect of the game, but with Mitch not being there, the Wizards got extra looks, and it came like this. Every possession mattered, and unfortunately, they out hustled us on the boards.
Definitely defensive rebounds, 29 and 34. Advantage goes to the Wizards. Rebounding totals, 52 to 49. Advantage goes to the Wizards. Obviously, the Knicks were missing Mitch Robinson there, but Julius Randle still managed to grab 15 rebounds. Total turnovers, Knicks with 9. The thing that stands out to me, Chris, is pretty much what I was explaining early on, and that is the assist ratio, 28 to 14. You're not going to win many games with only 14 assists. And, Knicks look tired as well. Let's take that into consideration too. I mean, they had that back-to-back matinee game, the Sunday and Monday game, which they played back-to-back afternoon games, which the New York Knicks haven't got a break from the schedule gods at all this season. So,
Yeah.
they look sluggish coming out the game. But, you got to play what's on your schedule, right? I mean, you can't really do too much, can't really make too much of that. I mean, do you make anything of that? I mean, just one of those games, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think it also goes back to the whole bench issue with the Knicks. I mean, we basically have to run out the starters for the majority of the games, and
Yeah.
I think it's just catching up. The schedules, the just 40 minutes a night for most of these guys. I think it's just starting to catch up, and it's showing out there. I give the Knicks credit. They did put the effort tonight. They did look a little bit slow, but they had some good rotations on defense when the Wizards were just swinging the ball around. They played hard. They didn't give up, but it was just one of those weird games where we just couldn't get over the hump.
Yeah, so the New York Knicks fall to 25 and 21 on the season. They are still sixth in the Eastern Conference. So, they're half a game above the Miami Heat. Indiana Pacers are right there as well. So Chris, the Knicks are still sixth, but I think they could stay in that sixth spot if they can lock in a nice deal here in the coming weeks. I really do.
Yes.
I do think
Yeah.
that if we can get a nice bench piece, not Reggie Bullock, please. I mean, why? Why? Why would you
Doesn't make
pivot to
sense.
Reggie Bullock, right? It doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make
I mean, I
sense.
get it. We should look, hindsight 2020. We should have signed Bullock instead of Evan Fournier, right?
Right.
Evan Fournier's contract was a bad contract. But, you know, it is what it is. Water on the bridge. I mean, don't go back to trading for Bullock and getting a second round pick for Cam. Come on. I mean, get something else. Give us something else. Give us Gary Trent. I'm not saying make a big splash. I'm just saying a piece that who's gonna score the rock, that can shoot the three at a high percentage. The Knicks desperately need that. They're desperately missing that guy coming off the bench, and they're getting nothing off the bench besides Emmanuel quickly, and it's gonna hurt them if they don't make a move here.
Yeah, and I mean, what you explained right there sounds like Gary Trent Jr. I mean,
Yeah,
he would be the perfect guy to plug in, off the bench, and he can shoot the three at a good clip. He could defend. I don't really see too many flaws with bringing him into this Knicks team, but entertaining that whole Reggie Bullock thing, I just don't see it. It just for what? I mean, giving up a younger player for somebody who's probably not going to be on the roster after this season if it went down. I don't know. It doesn't make much sense to me. I think the Knicks need to definitely make a move, whether it's a Gary Trent, hell, a Kyle Kuzma would be nice, a Tobias Harris type, somebody like that. I mean, we have these picks for a reason. We can't just continue, to hold it and wish for the next LeBron or the next KD to show up.
use them, bro.
And
Yeah,
it never goes that way for us. So why not build on this roster?
yeah.
We're having a pretty good season, all in all, where the league thought we were going to be initially. We're having a pretty good damn season, and why not build on this?
Why not, man? Get that bench piece and solidify the team. Solidify. Brunson's been playing at all-star numbers all season. Randall's been playing for the most part at an all-star level. RJ Barrett's starting again in his own. You know, I just think the New York Knicks sometimes they fall in love with potential and they don't want to trade certain guys that they know that the fan base favors. And as a general manager of a team, that's not your job. Your job is not to, your job is to read the room. Trade the guys that it's gonna hurt. Yeah, right now, like let's say you trade Obi Toppin, guys like that, it's gonna hurt. But to improve the team, you have to make those tough decisions, Chris. And to me, since Leon Rose has been brought here, I don't think he's made those tough decisions yet. I think he's just I mean, he's made good decisions, don't get me wrong. He's made some, good signings, and, obviously the Knicks made the playoffs a couple of years ago and they're well on their way to do it again, but I don't think Leon Rose has been put in that position. I mean, he was this summer with Donovan Mitchell and he decided not to, go all in. So I just think that it's time that the front office needs to trade some of these picks and solidify the bench because we need it. And right now, we're number 6 in the East. If we could hold the number 6 spot and not jump back in that play-in tournament, that'll be huge. And in order to do that, improve the team, Chris. You know, pull the
Yeah,
trigger, make some tough decisions. You're the general manager. Your job is not to, act as a fan. Your job is to read the talent on your own roster, then execute some tough trades, man. I mean,
yeah, yeah. You said it. I mean, that's the thing about it. With the whole Donovan Mitchell situation, the Knicks thought they had the upper hand. They thought there was no way in hell anybody was going to show up with a better offer than what they had. And in a sense, you could call it greedy. They didn't want to go all in and just
yeah,
secure Donovan Mitchell. They wanted to get him for the price they set, and the Cavs swooped in, offered a boatload more, and got him. And the Knicks didn't get to counter. So I mean, with that being history now, if I'm Leon Rose, I'm like, man, I gotta make a move. I gotta improve this roster. We're having a good season, you know, in comparison to what people thought the Knicks were going to be this season. And you got to make a move. I don't see how they don't. Um, we have too many picks not to make a damn move.
Yeah, we do. We do. And yeah, so if you just joined us, we're talking about the Reggie Bullock rumor. Per Mark Stein, Cam Reddish trades are intensifying with the Mavs, Bucks, Lakers are all in pursuit. Knicks are looking for a second round pick, draft compensation. It's funny, we traded a first round protected pick for Reddish, and now we're looking for a second pick. And are angling for Dallas to send Thibodeau's favorite Reggie Bullock to New York. So, and there was also a rumor. There was also a newsletter. I forgot who the reporter was that said the Knicks are, they don't want to trade Miles McBride because he's a Tom Thibodeau favorite. I mean, I get it. Like, I like McBride. I like Miles McBride, but come on now. I mean, I get it. He helped the Knicks turn the season around, but make tough decisions, make some moves, and, let's get this thing rolling because these close games, these close losses at home are starting to catch up. 25-21. Chris, the Knicks should have like about 5 more wins on their belt. They should.
Yeah.
And if they had those 4 or 5 wins, they'll be the 2 seed in the East. I mean, come on now.
That's crazy.
They'll be the 2 seed in the East.
Think about that.
And that's what.
Yeah. How many games have the Knicks lost? In the final minutes. Where if we had a little bit more of a scoring punch off the bench, these games would be different.
Yeah. I mean, look, the Bucks have 29 wins. The Knicks have 25. I mean, look, if the Knicks won 4 or 5 more games, look, it is what it is. They haven't, but I'm just saying that, they need. I'm not gonna say they need a spark, but I'm just saying the bench needs a spark. That's for sure. And with Obi Toppin still working his way back, Emmanuel Quickly is the only guy coming in off the bench, providing them anything of value. Ihart, nothing. McBride, defense, great. Offense, nothing. And, you got guys playing 40-plus minutes. I get it. The Knicks do not lead. That they don't have players in the top 5 in minutes played per game, but you could tell guys are tired out there. You can tell guys are worn out. So, few more weeks, Chris. We'll see what they do.
Yeah, it'll be interesting for sure. I'm hoping the Knicks make a move and add a piece that's not right.
Who do you think it is?
That's the thing. You don't really have a good. I don't really have a good grasp. I do see the rumors.
Bro, when that Bullock rumor came out, I was like, "This is so Knicks. This is so Knicks, man."
That's the scary part about it. I could see them doing something like that, which is unfortunate because, would you ever think there was a scenario where the Knicks don't give up Fournier to some team and then we end up having Fournier and a Reggie Bullock on the roster? Like, does that do anything for us?
Well, I don't think a team will take Fournier's contract unless the Knicks chat some assets. I think that's more of a move for for the summer, to be honest with you. But that Bullock move would be just a lateral move. It would just be like, hey, we did something.
Yeah.
Don't kill us. We did something.
I think you nailed it there with Fournier, though. I think at this point you just kind of got to hold on to him because he just becomes expiring, right? So that makes sense.
No, he has one more year. He has one more year.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, Evan Fournier has one more year after this one, and then after next year, he's an expiring deal. He's gone pretty much. But Gary Trent. There was even Eric Gordon. I would even like Eric Gordon out in Houston, but there were reports that the Knicks don't want to send a first-round pick for Gordon. Look, we need somebody. Eric Gordon, whether it's Eric Gordon, Gary Trent, whether you go for, whether you make a bigger splash and call Toronto and, package somebody with Ojanobi or somebody. Or maybe a Kuzma. Look, a lot of fans don't want to give up a lot for Kuzma. Kuzma's impressed me, Chris. These past, he dropped 40 in the Knicks last week. Good game tonight. He's dealt with a lot in his career, whether it's the Lakers and going to the Wizards, and he's dealt with a lot. But Kuzma has impressed me, man. And his game has really taken that next step. I'm not saying he's, an all-star yet, but he's a baller. And Imagine if the Knicks had Kyle Kuzma coming off the bench.
Yeah, I mean, I can't lie. Kuzma did impress
Bro,
me.
somebody like that changes
Like,
the team
yeah,
dynamically.
he's just, he's somebody who can get you a bucket. I mean, he's not completely a liability defensively. I'm sure he could improve in that end, but it's not the old Kuzma where he would just, chuck up shots for, you know, just turn around jumpers from like 35 feet away. It's not the same Kuzma. He's shown that he's grown and he's having a pretty damn good season. So if he's available and the Wizards make him available, that's somebody I'd definitely look at. I mean, how could you not?
Yeah. Let me just look up Kyle Kuzma contract. I believe he's a expiring deal. No, he has a player option next year. So pretty much an expiring deal because it's a $13 million player option for Kuzma. And you see the way he's playing right now, he's declining that. He's going to want the
Oh
max.
yeah. I mean, there's been rumors out there that the Wizards want to lock him up, but he doesn't necessarily want to stay in
No,
Washington. So
no. Some
Kuzma, he's into the fashion. Why not come to New York, right?
That'll be sick. Deontay in the chat, I'm tired of this offense. Yeah, man. 14 assists tonight. Pretty terrible across the board. Deontay in the chat said, "Is Mark Jackson available?" Yeah. I don't. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we need another. I mean, quickly's holding it down on his own off the bench. So, yeah, but Kuzma would be a hell of an addition for the New York Knicks off the bench. It'll probably take what 2 first-round picks to get Kyle Kuzma, maybe, and like maybe you throw in somebody, but he's making $13 million, so it's going to be pretty easy to make that money match. And look,
Yeah.
people say that he's an expiring deal, but you would own his bird rights next season, so you would have an advantage either way. So, you know, if the Knicks want to make that bigger splash in a couple of weeks and get Kuzma, great. Do I think they're going to do it? No, because I don't think that this front office just wants to dabble in that. I think they could maybe get into the Gary Trent situation and maybe the Eric Gordon, but we shall see. Until then, who knows? Deontay in the chat throwing Cam and Evan for Kuzma. Yeah, I'm assuming he's saying that for Kuzma. Yeah, man. Whoever the Wizards want,
Yeah.
I would honestly. I don't think I can give them 2 first-round picks for Kuzma. I would definitely give them one. I would definitely give them one. Maybe like it would have to be one of our own for even the Wizards to even dabble in that. But I'm telling you,
Yeah.
man, the Knicks are the 6th seed right now. They go into the playoffs with Brunson, Grimes, Barrett. Maybe Kuzma comes in here and starts, over Grimes. I'm just saying. But that's a hell of a squad. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I like that too. If he were to start and Grimes goes to the bench, that only helps the bench out even more.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I think that gives Grimes a little bit more freedom, to be used more offensively,
yeah.
which we've been wanting. I would take the gamble, man. I mean, why not? We have so many damn picks. Why not take a gamble on a young player it looks like he's figured it out, at least offensively, um, and he's showing improvement all around. So if it was up to me, I'd do it. But we all know the Knicks are trying to make either the big splash or just, it seems like they're not gonna, unless it's
Yeah,
somebody like a KD or LeBron or something where they can
yeah,
throw all the picks at, a Donovan Mitchell type again. You
yeah,
know, it looks like the Knicks might just do something simple. Hopefully
yeah.
not Reggie Bullock,
Like
but I
trade
hope not.
Rose somewhere and like help him out to a contender or
Right,
trade, Cam, whether it's for
a couple second rounders or something.
yeah, just accumulating more assets, right? I mean, at that point, you might as well hold on to Cam, bro. Like,
Yeah,
and see if he can make it work off the bench because they need something off the bench. They need a spark. And look, Dibbs doesn't want to play Cam, so Dibbs said right now overall we didn't play well, and I believe he said he doesn't think this offense was isolation heavy tonight. What are your thoughts?
I mean, he said the Knicks offense was in isolation
That's
heavy.
yeah. He
That's pretty
doesn't
much
think
all.
that they were isolation heavy tonight.
I mean, I think that's pretty much all I saw because how many times I think I could count
14 assists.
Yeah, I mean, so many times I saw Jalen Brunson go down the court, and it was just like the whole entire team would just stop and stare at him, and he's like waving them, like move, move, and either result in a turnover or something. I mean, Randall couldn't get it going at all. It was all ISO, and then RJ was having a really nice game. I think at one point he was 8 for 13, 8 of
Yeah.
13. And then he just began to force it over and over and over again, and ended up 9 of 21. So that screams a lot of ISO to me.
Yeah, it does. Porzingis. Welcome back to the Garden. Kristaps Porzingis. 22 points. Was booed in the intros. Kristaps Porzingis had some comments last week, some mature comments, pretty much saying that, he regrets the way he left New York, and he wished he was more mature about his decision. He regrets listening to possibly, who was it, his brother? That was pretty much getting him out of New York, and pretty much left the door open for maybe a reunion. We shall see. I wouldn't mind Porzingis back in orange and blue. I wouldn't.
Man, Porzingis is a tough spot for me because that was one of my favorites right there. He was supposed to be the homegrown guy. That we just became
He was
an
the
all-star.
unicorn. He was the unicorn,
Yeah,
man.
unicorn. Of course, with our luck, he gets hurt, and then all that happens. He ends up on the Mavs, and then now with the Wizards. Um, I've actually heard Porzingis say this many times in the past. And not for nothing, I think I'm over it. I would love to see Porzingis back here. Why not? Why not? You know,
Yeah, I think
um,
I'm over it too, man. I'm
he's a
over.
good player. I mean, he's
Yeah,
he's not durable, but
it's just that
on
where would he
nights like
fit? Where would he
yeah,
fit?
I mean,
A center alongside Randall, but then where would Mitch go? That's the tough thing.
yeah. Well, I mean, maybe you don't play them together, but maybe you get rid of an iHeart and you plug in a Porzingis.
Yeah, if you're bringing in Porzingis, he's definitely starting.
Yeah. Hey, I
But
mean, he had a couple of pretty good blocks. I mean, maybe you could bring Mitch off the bench.
yeah, the prize in the Porzingis trade was the Dallas Mavericks first round picks that the New York Knicks own this coming summer. Right now, if the season ended today, the New York Knicks will be picking 19 and 20. So, they're not picking in the lottery, Chris. They're not picking in the middle. They're picking in the 20s. So, this was the problem we had coming into the season, right? Good enough to make the playoffs, not bad enough to be picking in the lottery, which is why I think it's very vital for the New York Knicks to use some of their assets and continue to build this roster. This is the roster you want. This is the roster you committed to long term. Barrett extension, Brownell extension, Brunson massive underpay, by the way.
Yeah.
So, bolster the bench, bolster the lineup, man. We deserve it, and I do think that it's very vital for the New York Knicks to make a move within the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's time for us to invest and get a solid player in here. I mean, you know, we're not going to get a lottery pick, and like you said, we're in the middle of the pack, and you don't want to be a team that just is undecisive, and you end up just punting away a season where you could make some noise just because you want to save a pick here or there.
Yeah, exactly.
I think with Leon Rose missing on Donovan Mitchell, him being brought here specifically with Worldwide West to basically get a LeBron type, a KD type, and striking out multiple times. I mean, come on, we're not asking for that right now. We're asking, give us a Kuzma, Tobias Harris type, give
Yeah,
Gary Trent Jr. I
maybe
think,
somewhere else we're not talking about.
yeah.
There's
I mean,
plenty
if
of
these guys
guys like
are,
on the
they should
Wizards.
be.
They have what like who was the guy on the bench? Avdija, 3-point guy,
Yeah,
good 3-point shooter. Chris Pert, one of the scrappy guys
yeah,
off the bench. Somebody,
yeah, and that's what
somebody.
we need, a 3 and D type of dude.
Yeah,
Just somebody off the bench. It doesn't even have to be a Kyle Kuzma type, but I think it's time for the front office to make a move and invest in this team. We're having a pretty good season, and why not see if let's see how far we can take it.
yes, sir. Deontay in the chat. Any response on Obi being in the doghouse while Reynolds thinks it up? We talked about his earlier. Obi Toppin is still coming back from his injury. I don't think he's right yet. Yeah, DeAndre commented on the Kristaps talks. I mean, Kristaps wasn't wrong for wanting to leave. Hashtag never forget how they did Carmelo. Yeah, man.
That whole
Those were
Carmelo
the
situation
days.
was definitely tough.
Those were the
That
days.
was one of Chris Tapp's, closest, I guess, friends at the time. So, I mean, I think it did have some influence in KP like leaving, but mostly definitely is his inner circle, his entourage definitely nudged him out of MSG. They stories supposedly went that they were demanding things, and Knicks called his bluff and basically said, "All right, we're gonna ship you out to the Mavs."
Yep.
So unfortunate, but who knows? We might see KP back in a Knicks uniform at
I don't.
some point.
Yeah, at some point, maybe later on in his career. But
Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna wrap it up here, Chris. Tough loss, 2 in a row now. Next game is versus Atlanta, so gotta go out to Atlanta, go to the ATL, and get back on the winning track. The Knicks are a
Yes.
good road team, so this shouldn't be an issue. Atlanta's not a great team this season, so go out to Atlanta and get a win. It's not that hard, and I think they would. I do think they would. But
Yeah.
once again, if you're new here, yeah, we are. Once again, if you're new here, subscribe to the channel, join the family. I'm Anthony. That is Chris. Appreciate you guys for tuning in again, and have a good night. And let's go Knicks. Peace.
Let's go Knicks. Peace.